All right. Hello, magical souls. I am joined today for Magi Monday with one of my favorite Magi people in the world. And when I say my favorite Magi people, like what does that even mean? Well, we're karma cards. This is beautiful Mare, the mystical, magical Mama Bear. Welcome, welcome to this
Thank you. Thank
conversation
you.
today.
Thank
Yeah, let's start. I just said that we're karma cards, and so if you are new to the Magi, you don't understand what this is. It is what we have commonly known throughout our lives as a 52 deck of playing cards, which is actually an ancient astrological calendar. And it can be hard for people to understand that, but we're going to dive into some of that. Specifically, that is the conversation I want to have today, is because we are emerging out of the winter season, which is represented by the spade, the suit of the spade in the Magi system, and we're emerging into spring, which is the heart season. But the introduction was that you and I are karmically connected. And that's one of the really cool things that the astrology of the Magi helps us understand is our relationships with other people. And so you and I just have like this um, felt sense of connection, right? Instantly from the day we met.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to you. That I
Yeah.
felt so pulled to you. And then
And then
I
I
know
asked
why
the
now.
magic question,
Yeah,
your birthday. What's your birthday?
exactly.
Found out her birthday, and her main card is the Ten of Clubs, which as a four of spades, that's my main card, is my spirit karma card, my first karma card. And then the four of spades would be her second or her soul karma card. So we are karmically connected, which means that in this lifetime, we I want to say we got shit to do. We got work to do. We're here to do something, but it feels good. And I think it feels good because you and I are both on the other side of what I call volume one, or the first 44 years of our life. We live out this cycle of quadration, and we're on the second 45.
A little bit, a little bit.
And typically what comes with that is leaning into doing some work. Life has handed you a couple uh events, experiences that you are gonna, you know, encourage you to wake up and see how you're living your life and what changes perhaps you are being called to make, or how you're being asked to evolve and grow. And once you start doing that, the karma cards really become just a helpful, a positive influence in our life. And so
Mhm.
yeah, and we just get to
Like a
work.
support. It's you
Yeah.
just find that support. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Hmm.
Yeah. And so you and I have been traveling together through almost an entire, I would say, zodiac and also magical wheel, right? We
Yes.
met in the summer of last year and traveled through the eclipse portal of 6 months ago, where we were about this time in beautiful Teotihuacan and experiencing that. And then have just recently been in the depths of the inner wisdom season of winter, represented by the spade. And now we're here to talk about spring season and what's coming up. And I had the opportunity to have you with me on Facebook Live a couple of days ago to talk about Rise. And Rise is the name of the spring season that I am inviting people in on, as a part of the Joyful Soul Circle, part of the membership circle of Let Love Rise, of which Mare has been a part of since, you know, uh, last
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. Actually, last summer.
Last summer.
Why
And
sure.
there have been some questions that have come up, and I just wanted to continue that conversation because I felt like that was really just the beginning of where we're going and what's coming down the pipelines this spring. And there's a lot of very exciting pieces. And so
Very
somewhere
exciting.
between the mystical wisdom of the Magi and the astrology and transitioning of the seasons and the retreat and, you know, all of it. I just
The
thought,
snake, the whole snake and the shedding of the skin. Yeah.
your best snake. Do your snake. Do the snake, girl. Right. The shedding of the skin. Yes. Year 2025 represented by the year of the snake. And really, I just feel like we're in this portal right now. Do you feel that? Like the energy
Yes.
of, we had that total lunar eclipse on, gosh, I was, I want to say like a couple weeks ago. That was Friday. It was
There's a
like
lot
Thursday or
going on.
Friday. It's been a week, right? And now we're kind of taking our breath. There's not an eclipse this week, but there's a lot of energies that are moving through. And then on Wednesday, we transition out of winter season officially into spring. And we're going to be hosting a live event, or I'm going to be hosting with Beth Suter, local here in the Boise area. You will be there for a part of that. But emerging into the spring season is really just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Yeah, when you
Right.
think about the Magi and you think about the beginning, what suit does that call forth for you? And what,
The
yeah,
hearts in the beginning is the spring, and then it goes on. So yeah, it makes so much sense that once you're done with the winter and kind of storing all that and kind of going within, that with the tools that you learn, here comes spring, and you just want to get out the gates and just go live it, go love it, go do it. Yeah.
yes, yes. And I love that your secondary energy is a heart energy. You are the three of hearts, the creative expression. I mean, I always love talking to you on Zoom when we are not face to face because you see this creative, playful studio behind you, all the ways that you are expressing yourself through creativity, which is really what the Three of Hearts card is. But yes, the hearts represent the spring season. And one thing that I will be doing on YouTube throughout this year, and when I say this year, I do realize that we are well into 2025, but astrologically, the calendar year begins with the vernal equinox, with the spring equinox. Aries starts the zodiac wheel, and Pisces, the season that we're in right now, ends it. So this is really the end, and it's the same for the Magi. The spade is the suit of winter. It is the culmination. It's the true north. It is the wisdom years of our life. But spring represents the new beginnings, and the new beginnings begin with the heart energy. The heart energy is all about our first introduction as humans into the world. We were introduced first to what is home, family, relationships, love. What is our relationship with that, like for better or for worse? Like part of the work that we do in the Joyful Soul Circle is just learning to accept ourselves through the tool of the Magi definitely helps. I'm wondering how has it helped you to understand when if you can think back to when we first met and you were hearing that you are the teacher's card, the 10 of clubs, and then this card of creative love expression, the 3 of hearts. Like what has that been like for you to understand the essence of your cards?
Yeah. Well, I was always really into astrology. So that was really the only map I knew of was if I met someone and I figured out what their sign was, I can kind of see and
Yeah.
how we're compatible. But I remember thinking, God, there was just more to that because there has to be. And then I meet you and you're trying to, you're explaining just pieces of the Magi. And I kept going, wait, that just felt really comfortable. And
Mm.
then when I got to sit down with you and you were explaining all the 32, all the different numbers that were going together, and I just thought, okay, wait. And then I just really wanted to learn more. And you said I was a teacher's card. And I remember going, oh, okay, never mind.
Never mind.
She's
Never mind.
I am way too shy. And I took it very literal. Like I'm going to stand in front of a bunch of people and teach. And I thought, there's no way, there's no way. And then a few days later, I thought, oh, I am teaching. I'm teaching kids how to embroider. And I
Mm.
do like to speak in front of big groups. So why would I instantly? And then it was just these little bits and pieces that when we opened the roadmap and you were showing me huge life events that had happened and we went back in that time and we
Yes.
saw displacements that matched and heartbreak that matched and trauma. And I thought, oh, wow. okay, this is so much bigger.
And ooh, I just got
Yeah,
goosebumps all over
it,
because
it was,
that's the thing that's crazy and what makes the Magi so unique is that we do have this roadmap and some people immediately meet with resistance over that like okay, you're telling me that playing cards have my entire life destined for me. And the answer of that is like of course not. Like no.
right.
Like
You have free will.
we have free will. We do with what we have. You know, however, it is really powerful. I love that you talked about like one of the first things is going back in time to see like where the events are. You know, when I can look back at something as simple as when all of my kids were born, the years that they were born, that their birth card is actually most of them like the long range card for the year. There's just weird things like that where it's like, okay, okay, universe.
Hmm.
So what I like to say is like this is just strike that word just. This is a spiritual guide, right? That we can all tap into. It is another tool in our tool belts to understand ourselves better, to accept ourselves better, to love ourselves better. And going back to the heart
Yes.
energy of spring, it is all about compassionately loving ourselves. How are we showing up for ourselves, taking care of ourselves? Forgiving ourselves for mistakes that we have
Hmm.
made in the past. And I air quote mistakes because it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
And how the roadmap can help guide us through this mystical wisdom, not just the roadmap, but you know what we do in the Joyful Soul Circle has a lot to do with astrology. Also, looking at we are in a very powerful year, as you've already mentioned, this year of the snake, and March in and of itself, 2025 is just very intense energies with these two eclipses. We have the equinox happening later this week, the balancing of the light and perhaps calling into balance, like what is out of balance in your life. And all of this kind of play is what we do in the Joyful Soul Circle. And I've been talking a lot about that. And maybe before we talk about the retreat, which is brand new in the middle of the spring season. They're typically retreats have been towards the end, the beginning or the end of the season, but spring season has been created with the idea of 6 weeks magical retreat and then 6 weeks in this in the midst of this 13-week season. I set up that really long promo question and lost the question in there. Nope, it just came back to me. What's been one of your favorite parts about being a part of the Joyful Soul Circle?
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna people. I was shocked when I said this out loud. Sisterhood, like I just never. I had such a hard time making female friends growing up, and because I was so painfully shy that I had that resting bee face. So everybody,
Yeah.
and my joy was squished with a few other little traumatic things that happened. So I just
Mhm.
didn't put that out there. And then when I met these women from all over the place who were so loving and so accepting and so honoring me for who I was in that moment, not waiting for me to be this all, nothing. It was me and my scars and in my scabs and in my just ugliness. It was like, that's not ugly. That's just who you are. And
Yeah.
that's who you are in this moment, but this is who you are in a big, and it was just so it's just such a different thing when you don't know how to get out there and you're shy and you
Yeah.
kind of become an introvert because of whatever reason you have, and then you're kind of pulled out of that. It's actually pretty freeing. At first it's nerve-wracking, but then it's like that's what I mean. I say yes to you all the time because
Because that's a growth edge, right? You said it's
right.
nerve-wracking, like that's fear wanting to keep you small. And I'm just like laughing out loud as you're saying this because watch out, world. Look at the microphones, like you're like, I'm ready to start the podcast. I'm
Mhm.
expressing my like what how I have seen you blossom and grow in 9 months is just amazing and incredible. And that's And that part of sisterhood, I know, I know because I know you, and I know that this is something brand new to you and to a lot of people that are attracted into this circle is because they're like they have whether it's big T trauma or little T trauma around mean girls. Quite frankly, like mean girls
Right.
are real. And
Hmm.
they don't find us here in the joyful soul circle. That generally that doesn't that has not been the experience that we have. It is a very loving, supportive community. I call it of open-hearted spiritual warriors who are just all about like how do we compassionately and radically love ourselves so that we can show up more fully for the people who are in our homes, our
Hmm.
families and in our communities, our coworkers, to people that you just pass by walking on the street. I mean, it's really the change happens within. And that's we use the astrological wheel. We use the four seasons of the Magi to help grow us. And so spring season is a really great time to enter into the circle. So there is an invitation for anybody who just, if you just want to know a little bit more about how the Magi cards, how your personal cards, or even what your cards are, there is going to be a link in the description for a Soul Roadmap Clarity call. 30 minutes. Let's hop on together. I really feel one of the things that one of the words, two of the words that have been with me since the inception of Let Love Rise is courageously authentic. Courageously authentic. It used to be fearlessly authentic, but I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, there's all kinds of fear. Fear
Yeah.
is very present and very there, but courageously authentic. And when I've been thinking, and you and I, again, just to show your progression, how you have taken on this co-facilitator role with me in the Beltane retreat that we are bringing to people this spring season. It's called Wild, Wise, and Free. And I just feel very called right now to do this so authentically by talking with people one-on-one about what your needs are, what you're looking for, and if what I have to offer as the traveling magi of Let Love Rise will serve you, if if this retreat will serve you. And there are two parts of the retreat. Um,
Spoiler, no matter which part, it's going to serve you,
yeah.
no matter
Or
which part you go on.
yeah, yes, exactly. Because Mare did come with me. She traveled with me to both Ashland and Shasta to visit the retreat centers where we want to hold this place. And even though they're within an hour of each other, and ultimately, two of my favorite words are yes and.
Mm.
Yes, and ultimately, the flagship, the mothership, the ultimate experience for the spring season is the retreat bundle, where you participate in the Joyful Soul Circle for the full 13 minutes, 13 weeks,
Quick.
and participate in the full retreat. Shasta, Ashland. So Shasta in Northern California, what kind of accommodations are we going to be staying in, Miss Mare?
We are glamping in yurts, and they're
Glamping in yurts.
awesome.
Yes. And so honestly, this is why I was like, I'm bringing Mare with me. We're going to go sleep in a yurt in the middle of winter when it's going to be as cold as can be to really experience like, are they comfortable?
Right. Yeah. And I would have told you if they
Yeah,
were.
and we just had, I mean, I would have stayed there longer. We were kind of on a mission, on a scouting mission, but
Right.
it was so accommodating, very warm, very cute, like twinkly lights. There's electricity, there's comfortable
Oh,
beds, plenty of.
beautiful. It's beautiful. There, you open those doors and the birds are chirping, and there's a little bit of snow on the ground at the time, and you hear that the with the fall, the waterfall right there coming
Yeah.
through, and
And this water too, like we learned, oh, I'm gonna get his name incorrect. Is it Dr. Emoto Yoshi, who's done? I'll
we'll
write
put it down in the comments.
we'll write the correct stuff, yeah, in the description. has done so much studies of water molecules that are right there at Hestia, just beyond that. So the water that runs through not just the Shasta area, but into Ashland, where we're the second part of the retreat will be at Lithia Resort. I'm seeing it as the part where we are in at Hestia Retreat Center. This is the part of Wild, Wise, and Free that is really tapping into our wild nature. And our wild nature, I mean like maybe it is the 7-year-old inside of us. Maybe it's the 10-year-old inside of us, like the young child who just is enthralled by this magical playground that we get to live in. And we're going
It's
to
like
be
sorry, it's like a
no,
fort. It's like the best fort you could ever create when you were a kid out,
that's
in
totally
the
it.
neighborhood.
Totally,
Best
totally.
fort.
You don't need to try to, clip them onto chairs and get under, but that's kind of what it is. And it's feeling like you're a part, like reminding yourself that you are a part of something so much bigger. We needed to literally sleep under the stars and have, the sacred land of the Shasta area. There will be an excursion where we will go out uh during our time there, but most of our time at the Hestia Retreat Center, this first part of the retreat, which is April 27th to April 30th, we'll be staying at Hestia, is to tap into our nature, to get out of technology, to get out of the noise of the world, and to center into to be able to even listen to what our heart is wanting, to what is coming up, to allow tears to flow if tears need to flow, to have space for creative expression through music, which is what I bring to every event. And art, therapeutic art. There's going to be all kinds of opportunities. It's more of the introspective time. And it is also the part of the retreat where I, as the traveling Magi, will be sharing the wisdom that I have picked up and gained along the way and how to use our soul roadmaps. Everybody will have a copy of their soul roadmap, but the foundation of the work that I do is fourfold. It is through the moon or astrology, music, because when words fail, music speaks. Mindset. I mean, I just enough said the entire spring season is really in the joyful soul circle. It's about mindset. How do we face the challenges? How do we rewrite the narratives? How do we flip the script? How do we let go of the old stories? Because that's where the magic is. Your word is your wand.
Word is your wand.
And then the magi and how to use this system in a really beneficial way to help yourself. So that's the first part of the retreat, and then we will move to Lithia resort in Ashland, about an hour north. So we are actually going to be crossing the border from Northern California into Southern Oregon. And that is where we pamper our inner goddess. Like we literally are going to be in these gorgeous suites that all have the magical, mystical water of the Jackson Well Springs, these mineral waters that are just so amazing. And then we as a community will receive the blessings of the Goddess Temple of Ashland, which is right next door to Lithia Springs Resort. And we will be active participants in their 3-day celebration of Beltane. And I don't fully know what to expect. I have not been to a Beltane ritual and ceremony and celebration, but I have been to many events at the Goddess Temple and also just walked around the grounds there. In addition to that, and I want you to share your I'm gonna share your experience because you got to go there for the first time a couple of weeks ago. But we will be culminating our time in this retreat, this Beltane retreat, with a rebirthing ceremony at their mikvah, which is very private and very special. And I think it's going to be an absolute highlight of the trip. But what you were with me when we met with Graylin, the high priestess of the goddess temple. And what was just some of your takeaway of just walking around the land and talking to Graylin and hearing about what we are going to participate in?
I'm actually excited that we went at winter when everything was kind of not that big, beautiful spring kind, because it's going to be. So it's like there's going to be this magical thing that I still get to experience, even though I've experienced recently with you. In the winter, everything was kind of,
Yeah,
pulled back,
it's like the dead
but
of
it was
winter.
still so beautiful because you had you were able to see so much more that they had just placed, and people with such thought just put things in certain spots, and you could possibly miss them if you're not really looking. So
Yeah.
I was so just trying to take it all in and listen to you and listen to her. But I just remember feeling once we started walking that there was something so sacred there. And I
Yeah.
remember trying to watch my feet because I thought there's something here. And I didn't really understand what it was until we went into, I think it was the dome with her,
Yes.
sat
Yes.
inside and she lit a little fire. And then we're just sitting there talking, and I could feel just older energy. And
Mm.
then we're walking around, and she's telling us all these different spots and what they do here. And I just would sit there for a second, and I'm learning about the intuition. I'm learning to speak to um, possibly people from, your past ancestors. So everyone will talk about healing the ancestors, and I'm there. Are you my ancestor? Like, who are you? But it's just, I
Yeah.
didn't care. I wasn't afraid. It was so beautiful and so magical.
Yeah.
And listening to her tell the stories about the women that have come there, the men that have come there, the honoring of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And
Yes.
everyone, it just, it just, it was like a hell yes. There's no way I would not ever go back there and try that because, yeah, I am so
And
excited.
I think that that was the confirmation that I wanted to feel and receive. I wanted to see it through your eyes, through somebody's eyes for the first time, because I've been back and forth from these places for the last couple of years, specifically Ashland and well, yeah, and Shasta. I've been going there more and more, and just feel really called. And I can't quite explain it, but I am trusting my internal
Right.
guidance system. I am trusting the path as it's unfolding. And both of these places, the Goddess Temple of Ashland and Hestia Retreat Center, have been built with such love and intention to bring healing to people, to
Mm.
allow people to have a safe space to come because we have chosen to incarnate into a very challenging pocket of time, in my opinion. That I just feel like, we all have lived through the pandemic and we are still in the aftermath of that. And who am I now? And what am I creating now? And how, having this awakening of, oh, I can be the conscious creator of my life. I, through the power of my mind and my thoughts, I can control those in such a way to bring forth and to attract unto me that which I most desire. Like, yes.
Mm.
Yes, you can. Each of us has that inside of us. It has just been like that volume dial has been turned way, 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 way down. And the dial that's been turned up is just, oh my gosh, I just heard I'm seeing the Grinch from How the Grinch Stole Christmas and the noise, 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 right? There's so much noise in our world.
Yes, so
So
much
we're
noise.
tapping out of the noise at the first part of Wild, Wise, and Free, tapping into our nature, connecting with our spirit guides, our angels, our spirit animals, getting into creative expression, dance, music, feeling, conversations, and more to come on that. And then we are going to receive this beautiful ceremony of this midpoint season called Beltane, the midpoint of the spring season. And then for those who want to continue the journey and are a part of the bigger Joyful Soul Circle, you'll have that 6 weeks of post-retreat support for us to continue to play and to continue to unpack and to continue to heal and enjoy one another's company and support each and every one of us as we pursue our individual dreams. Is one of the things that I have come to learn in my healing journey is that we all share the same fear, right?
Yep.
But our dreams are uniquely ours. And this week, Again, as we leave Pisces season, it is really a time to go within. Spend the next couple of days going within, connecting to your dreams, to Neptune, to the higher octave of love, this universal way of expressing love. And what is it that you want to dream? Because if it is there, there's a reason.
Hmm.
It's your mind that is going to want you to just keep it small. But listening to your body, all of this stuff is wanting to emerge this season. So I definitely, definitely, definitely hope that if any of this part of this is resonating with you or making you think of someone else, share this message with that other person, sign up for a clarity call with me, and we're building Wild, Wise, and Free very organically, very authentically in response to each and every individual need. These are the responses to what I have heard so far. And I'm just freaking excited to see where it goes and to trust this
Very
journey.
excited. Yes, very excited. And to be able to do this with you and knowing the gifts that you have to share with people and on a grander scale, that they're going to see that energy when they're around you. They're going to feel that energy when they're around you. There's the support that you give so freely, and the mindset that you teach me has just it I can't even put into words
Well,
how
here's the
it's
beauty of
changed
that.
my
Thank
life.
you. I Namaste. Light in me sees the light in you. Thank you for that. And also what I hope that my work is always is the spark. The spark.
Yeah.
And I've seen the spark in you. I know, I
You lit
know.
the fire, girl.
The fire, just light that fire. Come on, baby, love my.
That's right.
But to light the fire in you, and the last thing that I want to share about the work that I create, the spaces that I create, I do things very intentionally in a circle. And the reason for
Mm,
the circle is because maybe I'm the spark that ignited something in you. Maybe it's from outside sources. Wherever that spark is coming from, each of us within a circle are equal contributors. We all have gifts to share. And there's something really powerful when you take that type of community, giving and sharing. You give and you receive. And there are times and there are seasons where people need to simply receive, to be poured into, to be spoken encouragement and love and truth into. And the truth, when I say the truth, is the truth that you know that resonates with you when your body is just like, it's like a, yeah,
mhm.
everything feels right and good about this. So having that spoken into and just receiving it, there are times when that's where we're at. And then, Mare, I somewhere in the 9 month journey, you have kind of you're tiptoeing into this giving side of yourself and into your soul gifts because I think that you along the last 9 months have really started to accept and nurture and grow and plant seeds of what you want now at this point in your life. And you are ready to share some of your wisdom as well. I just keep seeing that mama bear that was there at the goddess in the goddess temple dome. When I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, Mama Bear Mare,"
Yeah, I know.
you know.
I was obsessed with Mama Bear too.
And brave and all of that. Yeah. So we can, yeah. So I think we did a great job at holding our nice little chat here in 10 minutes.
We did good.
No, totally laughing. We're so over. But this is the other thing to know that again, like when you get the two of us together and we just start chatting, part of the 10 energy that is Mare's birth card and my first karma card 10 energy is big energy. And in the clubs, we have a lot to communicate, to share, and to say. So thank you all for listening. I'm so excited to invite each and every one of you into Rise, the spring season with the Traveling Magi of Let Love Rise. And let's just hop on a call and see what part of the spring season might nurture you exactly where you are and for exactly what it is that you need. And organically, we're going to be a little wild, very wise, and totally courageously, authentically free to be
Yes, yes.
me this season.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I will say, underline, 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 the clarity call is
Mm,
really the first step, but it won't be your last because you're just going to feel so understood and accepted. And you got to do it. But
yeah.
you also got to subscribe and you got to follow her on Facebook and Instagram and all the good things because there's so much stuff that you're doing that's so amazing. They don't want to miss out.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. Looking forward to chatting with you some more. And then you can look forward to weekly little snippets of each and every card of the Magi beginning this spring season. Thursday, March 20th, we will be beginning with the very first card in the deck, the Ace of Hearts. So. Bye for now. To love and joy in the journey.